want to give you the lay of the land, and then I want to talk about where our current status is, and then how we're going to go about doing this, assuming the various factors come together. But to start out with, we did receive as a team a congratulatory card from our superintendent, Dr. Crawford, and so at the end of the first event, he was super excited. He's actually a very big proponent of FIRST Robotics, which is excellent because when my boss supports us, who's the head of CTE, and our superintendent supports us, the principal of the school, who is a CTE person, supports us. That's why we are able to do these kinds of things. And so, if you do see, Mr. Nichols, or you do see Mrs. Rohr, who I know many of you don't know, please thank them for their support of the program. Or if you ever have the opportunity to meet the superintendent, Dr. Crawford, please express your gratitude in his support of our program. So we've got that, which is cool. Okay, so here's where we're at. Today is Monday, March 18th. Wednesday, April 3rd, through Saturday, April 6th, is the Pacific Northwest District Championship. This is also the week of spring break, and so as such, I already have a trip planned, and so I am unable to attend this event with you. But your very gracious members, Steve and Tyler, as well as
A draftee.
Yep, as well as a draftee, knows dad, so Mr. Croker, and Sharon said that they would be willing to dedicate their time to getting you to this event. And so that is excellent, because that's time away from their families, that's time away from their children, it's time away from, they have to make plans for that, and so that is excellent. Yes?
I most likely will be able to get a ride to the competition for my grandma.
That's right, because you will already be, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll already be down in Oregon, but I will probably stay with you guys at the hotel.
Okay, alright.
But you just don't need transportation. Got it.
Alright.
We'll need to know that at transport
Yeah.
time when we pick your transportation.
No, yeah, I will. I'll let you know by then.
Perfect.
Like when
Okay.
by this weekend.
Right now, here's where this stands, and it's all a little bit in flux. We received the support of our department to get us to the event. So that's excellent, because I was basically able to ask, and they said, yes, what do you need to make it happen? And so it's fantastic that we are able to just go to this event. Right now, it is scheduled the 3rd through the 6th, but it gets out like late in the afternoon / early evening on the 6th. And you know how tired you were at the end of a 2.5-day event? Well, now you're here for a 3.5-day event. And so we are in the process. I had made the request, once Steve pointed it out, to stay the evening of the 6th as well. So an extra evening in the hotel so you can come back Sunday morning. I haven't received any confirmation from the hotel, but I can tell you that the van reservation has been updated. And so I think things are moving in that direction. So that way you don't have to pack up and drive back and be exhausted not getting back here until like 10 o'clock at night or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of time to relax in the hotel, unwind a little bit without having to worry about the next day. And hopefully you'll get back to the hotel and you'll be worried about how are you going to get to the world championship is the hope. So that's what the calendar kind of looks like. I sat down this morning and really had the first opportunity to look at the numbers and the standings. And so I want to go through with you kind of what I have done on here, which I know this is very difficult for you, but I'll just try to. As of this morning, I was able to just copy and paste all of the current district rankings from the blue lines. And so to my knowledge, this is accurate as of this morning. All right. What this is, again, I know you can't really tell. This is the current rank. This is the team number. Points from event 1, points from event 2. and then total points. The rest of this stuff is kind of irrelevant. So this is everyone. This is the list. So we're down here at 31. This is the list with everyone who's already higher than us removed, because the people that are higher than us, even if they do a second round, they're not going to knock us down because they're already higher than us, right? And so what we need to be concerned about are the folks below us that could potentially get ahead of us, right? So this is the list with all of the higher ranks removed. This next list is the list culled. So this is the list of all the folks who are lower than us who have already played their 2 events. Because the folks who have already played their 2 events, those folks also can't bump us down because they're under us and they've already played their 2, and so they can't bump us down, right? This list also removes, there are a bunch of teams at the bottom of this that have 0 points because it looks like they have played no events. These are teams that are defunct or otherwise not competing this season, because basically this past weekend was your last chance to compete for the first time, because this upcoming weekend is the last weekend where you can compete, and so folks who have saved their 2 plays for the last 2 weeks, the first of those 2 plays would have had to have been this past weekend. So everyone who is going to play has already played at least once. These are the folks who have played once. These are the folks who have played once and are underneath us in points, meaning that in theory at least they should be playing this upcoming weekend for a second round.
So if this is a list of the teams who have only played once, why does like 37-12 have like event 1 and event 2 already filled?
So I put these up here because we all have the same number of total points.
Right.
And I haven't had an opportunity to look into what is the tiebreaker for those.
Isn't that where the co-op points come into play?
So yeah, it might be that. It might be the fact that we got the points through a straight up victory, but we won the tournament, and they're not just qualification points. They are also tiebreakers go into the awards that you win, so that kind of stuff. And so even though it's very easy to think that the Engineering Impact Award doesn't have a big effect on the game, if one of these teams won that and we didn't, they would get that tiebreaker and they would go on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I put those up there just because those are teams that I don't know if they were tied, but I don't know if we're really tied.
Right.
We might be slightly above them in the tiebreaker, or we might not. Okay. So now, the rest of this is with the big air quotes and asterisk because anything can happen in FIRST Robotics. So I had to go off something. So what I did is, here are the lower ranked teams than us who have, where did I do this? Oh, here are the lower ranked teams with us who have less than or equal to 15 points. And so here's what I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume that if you scored 15 points in your first competition, I'm going to assume that you, if you play at the same level and score another 15 points, that will give you a total point of 60, and that'll bump them above us. So basically, these are all of the teams who have greater than 15 points, because if they score at least as well as they have at their first tournament, they will bump us down. And there is a significant number of them, just as a forewarning. So, here's my notes one. Okay, so there are 45 teams that have over 15 points, having played only one round. So if they play their second round and get another 15 points, they'll knock us down. There are 12 teams with under 15 points that have only played one round. So as you know, you can do really well at one tournament and then not do so great at another one. Which means that in total, there are 56 possible teams that could still outrank us at the end of this upcoming weekend. strictly speaking, there are 50 spots at the Pacific Northwest Championships, but I looked at the event from last year and there were 54 teams in attendance. I don't know if they do that to make the bracket equal. I don't know if they do that because they want some wiggle room. But let's assume there's 50 because they tell us that there's 50, even though there might be more. So that means we can only be knocked down 19 spots to lock in a championship off of strict merit. So out of these 56 possible teams, we need fewer than 19 of them to do better than us in order to lock in a spot for this. Now, there are a bunch of other caveats in this, in the sense that, anything happen in FIRST Robotics, these are just some numbers that I threw out there just as something to go on, just to kind of paint the picture. Another thing that can happen, and I know for certain happens at the world level, is people can qualify for this tournament and be unable to go. And if they do that, they offer it to the next team. And so we won't know if we are actually able to go until the end of this upcoming weekend, because then we'll have all of the ranks. And if we have all of the ranks at that spot and we are in 50th place or better, we're a lock, we're going, all right? If we are in like 53rd place, it's not a lock, but in the next upcoming couple of days, we'll probably expect a couple of teams who have qualified to just say, sorry, we can't make it, we don't have the budget, we can't find hotel rooms, like all of the stuff that we are very fortunate because of the support of the folks I mentioned earlier are able to get us in and support us. In which case, we would happily take that bid, right? And so then we would go. If we do this and we're down at like 65th, like 75th place, then I don't think we're going. I don't know what the timetable is for the folks to report whether or not that they are going to the district championships. And one thing that just occurred to me, I think there's a fee to go to district championships, and so folks might not be able to pay that fee. I need to look into that because that's something we'll have to ask about.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah, but again, we are very fortunate in the fact that because of your efforts, all build season long, the school wants to see you successful and they want to give you these opportunities, and so again, highly doubt that we wouldn't be able to go because of the entrance fee. But again, that's because we are in a fortunate position with the district who supports this program. So I estimate our odds. I'm gonna put it at 50-50, to be quite honest. Hopefully it's a little bit better. Hopefully I'm being pessimistic about that. Those of you who are more mathematically or statistically minded, look at it and be like, oh, even 50% might be a bit of a reach. But that's where it stands right now. Now, let's say we get the call, we're going. What's happening? What does this look like? Well, because this happens during the week of spring break, we basically need to have it packed up, ready to go the Thursday, Friday before everyone leaves. And so that would be the end, not of this week, but of
Next week.
This is this week, so that would be like the 28th, 29th. Now, these are, and please correct me if I'm wrong because my brain is a little out today. These are conference days, right? Yes. Before spring break, okay? Which means that the 22nd, this Friday, is a grading day for teachers, right? And so you don't have school that day. The 27th is a regular Wednesday, the 12:15 dismissal, conferences in the afternoon. The 28th and 29th, you do not have school because those are conference days. Yeah, Ricky?
Are we allowed to still come here
Yes.
on those days?
Yes,
I
and
think that's where
so,
we're headed to.
Yeah.
and so that's kind of where I'm headed with this, is because, yeah, you can definitely come here. As a matter of fact, it's super easy because I'm already here and the building's already unlocked and come on in. Oh. Oh, that's glass. Oh, no. Here, I'm gonna turn the lights on. Don't worry, those were test pieces. And so, during those days, I'm gonna go grab a
Won't be here this Friday.
What?
Oh yeah.
That's when you're loudest.
Autumn won't be here either.
Yeah,
Huh?
on Friday. There's a band music trip.
So we may ask that a couple of folks, if you're willing to volunteer and come on in to help us get us packed away on those days. As you know, it doesn't take the entire team to get us packed up. We might find those days that we might want to make changes to the robot. They might be good work days. Not that we want to be messing around too much with our robot the day before we go to district championships, but we do have that time.
I might be able to come in Thursday, but probably not Friday.
Me, Noah, and Autumn are all have the Victoria trip that starts Friday, so we won't be here Friday or yeah.
This Friday?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
this Friday.
Shouldn't be that.
So, yep, so a lot of moving pieces. Honestly, like we have like things that we need to fix on the robot, obviously, because our intake got pretty dinged up, but we're still working. Yep.
First meeting on Wednesday?
Yes.
What time it is?
That would be probably,
The bus leaves, when the bus leaves on Wednesday?
yeah, so we would depart on Wednesday, probably.
Yeah, I think we have to wait until we find out the exact time frame we could be at competition.
Yeah,
I don't think that's been posted yet.
They have-
But if there's
they have
anything.
it scheduled.
Oh, did they already have it
The
posted? The last time I
schedule's
looked, it
out.
wasn't posted yet. If it's like normal where it's 5, we probably wanna leave here by noon.
Yeah.
They have like
It's at 5.
you can start at
Maybe
2,
late.
5 people at 2.
At 2.
And then, team event at 5.
Okay, so it would be
Yeah.
around.
So it's sometime in there.
Yeah, I think noon.
We got time to drive down
It's about a 4-hour drive, and that'll put us there roughly around 4. And we have
Yeah.
Probably around.
Got just a little extra wiggle room for potty breaks.
Yeah.
That tells everyone potty beforehand.
Yep.
Pretty diapers.
Yeah.
So that is, I think that's what I know. Yeah, so that's kind of what the time frame looks like in regards to all of this. So next week. So yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on it. Again, we're gonna know in a week's time. So next Monday, we're gonna know whether we are in on merit total lock-in, or I'm gonna send emails and ask, because like, hey, when will we know if teams can whatever, because I really want us to show, obviously.
Yeah.
In regards to this week, there are things that we want to fix on the robot, but more or less, we don't wanna mess with it too much. The things we discussed, as like mentors and students getting done is, one, we want to obviously repair our intake. So that will mean machining a couple of parts or putting our spares on. So we're kind of set to go for that. Programmatically, I don't think we have a lot to change. What would be the biggest thing to change in the program would depend on if we can get some new codes in for our swerve drive modules. I would like the swerve drive modules disassembled and cleaned and put back together. And I also want to get some new tread for that. The tread is pretty worn down. And there's the axle in there is all full of hair and gunk, and it looks like the vacuum cleaner brush roller. So that's the main reason why I don't even need them fully taken apart, but I think we're gonna have to basically fully take them apart to swap over the gears, because right now our robot's top speed is pretty slow because of the gearing that was put in it, because I just chose a conservative gear. But now that we kind of see that a little bit more speed is gonna be more advantageous, have some practice under the belt, we can bump it up to a higher speed. Yes. And that all depends on whether or not I can get those parts in this week, because if they're in next week, I don't think the time frame is quite gonna work out. And then like that's all that I know for like major change. Oh, and swap out the launcher wheels. I've been pretty happy with the durability of those, maybe even a little surprised as to the durability of those. But we're definitely gonna want a fresh set for the launcher wheels. And
There are a few wheels we need to replace on the intake rollers.
oh yes,
Well,
yes.
If we can, we've got a few of the green ones, but not
Mhm.
very many.
The only green ones we have left, I think, are the larger diameter ones.
I think I found two small
Okay.
ones, they're in spare parts, but two is.
We also have a spare bumper cover for the front bumper that we can replace, just we tore that up. And then Sharon said she can come in Wednesday and get the measurements of the board and take some stuff home with her and make all new bumper covers for the other ones that are damaged. So then we can just take the staples off and replace the bumper covers when we have time.
I had on my list we need to inspect this in general overall for other damage that we haven't
Yes,
seen.
yeah.
Things keep coming loose, like motors getting loose, things
Mhm.
like that. Not disastrous.
Yeah, not disastrous, but obviously if it drops that low, that would be.
I think we're not gonna mess with the Falcons right now for this
Nope.
year.
No, because we don't have,
I wouldn't.
We don't have the.
yeah, we don't have the adapter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't even do it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
That
I
might
mean,
be.
I'm happy to check if you want. but-
No, it's good.
I might
Don't
do
mess up
something.
too much of the good thing.
Yeah, so the thing about our launcher,
I think
that
it
is our-
works.
yeah, the thing about our launcher is that our launcher right now, I think, is a good launcher. When we shoot, it shoots pretty much in a straight line and not in an arc, which means that where we shoot from is not really helped by additional power, I think. One of the discussions that Ricky reminded me of is that to increase our cycle time, we can, at least I'm hoping we can edit the program in such a way where when we see the target, we can start smoothing up our shooter motors and then only launch, and then when we launch, we're just running the feed roller and we don't have to wait for the shooter motors to get up to speed, because I think that'll save us a second per shot.
Hello. That's all that counts.
And so I think that'll be a relatively painless way to increase our cycle time, without having to do too much. Okay,
I remembered
finally,
something. It's
finally, because of the short time frame on this, and I know this is something I announced prior, but I didn't know how many people heard me because we were light on attendance that day. We are not taking a big group of people down. We are taking a kind of a small group because we are limited on transportation, we are limited on our hotel space, and so for the most part, I think if you have been, if you were kind of on the short list, you have been asked to confirm your availability.